Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sal's Pandemic Externship Podcast, or SPEP. Today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020, and I thought that we could start with some wisdom from two friends of mine and two philosophers. The first one is one that you may know well from the Chronicle. His name is S.S. Singh, but you may also know him as the Love Doctor. The second philosopher is my friend Noe Bogan, or, as she likes to call herself, Philosopher Bogues. I asked them each three questions that I think are really important to think about right now as we go through this pandemic. The first one is, what is the best way to get through quarantine? The second one is, how do you stay close with your significant other, or you may call them your shoddy, in this time? And third, if life were a video game, what would the cheat codes be? With more on this, here is the Love Doctor and Philosopher Bogues.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy SS, the distance doctor. South hit me up saying that, the people needed me. So obviously I came because I'm for the people. You guys already know that. But let's get right into it, man. The first question South asked me was, what should you be doing in quarantine? And to answer that is, I think if you come out of quarantine with no new skill or hobby, you weren't lacking time, but you were lacking discipline. You should come out of quarantine with some new skill or some new passion that you can use to help yourself in the future. I've seen a lot of students from Episcopal, starting their own clothing brands and threading brands and companies, and I've seen some students who have been using social media to gain a following, to become popular creators, and I think that's all great ways to demonstrate your creativity almost. And not only that, but you also gain attention towards our school, and our school gets recognized, as this place where all these creative students are gathered and, doing great things. And if you can't do that, I think you should be helping your community in any way possible, but still, understanding that you should be safe and be making safe decisions.
Hello. What is the best way to get through quarantine? Bagels. Friday Night Lights is on Amazon Prime with ads though. But yeah, bagels.
How do you talk to your shawty during quarantine? And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think you should be spending quarantine by yourself. I think you should be taking this time to work on yourself and think about where you are currently as a person, and use that to change your flaws, and if you think you have flaws, to work on those flaws, so that when you come out of quarantine, you're essentially this greater person and this unrecognizable person that people will look up to. So kind of working on your own skills. But if you do have a significant other, still contacting them, doing what you got to do, but also recognizing that they need their space and you need your own. That's the only way you're gonna make it out of this.
What do I do to stay close with my shoddy? Well, me and Bino just have this undeniable connection, so sparks are always flying. You just gotta keep up FaceTimes and send each other little trinkets in the mail.
SS expressed that he was unable to think of an answer to the question of, if life was a cheat code, what would it be? And I came to the conclusion that it's because SS is living life as a cheat code. If you look at life in the lens of SS Singh, then you will be living life with a cheat code.
If you guys need anything, let me know. Thank you. Peace.
Then, if life was a video game, what would be the hack, the cheat code? Definitely to stay confident and believe in yourself and work hard.
Thanks, guys. There was actually one question for each of you guys that I wish that I could have asked, and maybe you can answer it another time. For SS, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? And for Noe, your name is spelled no E, so why is there an E in your name? Shouldn't it just be no if there's no E? Or was your name Noel, Noel, and since there was no L and no L, then it became no E, but then it would be no again. So are you no L? Are you no L but then no E because you're no L, or are you no E and so your name is No? But if you're no, then what is there none of? No Bogan? So confused. Please answer this question as soon as you can. But I digress. Next, I want to get to a great interview that I had with Paul Blake, who's in the class of 2010. We had a great conversation about what Episcopal was like for him and how it prepared him for his career in the media. Paul, for people who don't know who you are, how about you just introduce yourself real quick and your background?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Paul Blake. I was class of 2010 at Episcopal High School. I lived on Hummel, McGuire, Hummel again, and then Dalrymple, which was a guy's dorm. I think it's a girls' dorm. Now, exactly. And and then after leaving Episcopal, I went to college in the DC area and went on to be a TV reporter for a while. And then about a year ago, switched to what many of my journalist colleagues call the dark side and work as a communications officer at the World Bank in Washington, D.C.
What were like some experiences at Episcopal, like in all 4 of your years, that kind of, pushed you to mature, and what lessons did you really take when you graduated?
I think there's a couple of different things. On one level, living on your own, at 14, going from having my mom kind of direct my life or my dad direct my life to, some combination of teachers having quite a lot of oversight, but also having to kind of be a self-starter. So for me, I think that first year, especially the second year to a lesser extent, and kind of graduating down kind of over time, was particularly, there was a lot of like having to learn to have the self-discipline to like do my homework without, my parents sort of shouting at me, is it done yet?
Yeah.
And so, that took some time, and, I had some bad habits early on where I would kind of, especially the homework that I particularly hated, would wait until, sometimes till the next morning, and I would do it kind of in a mad scramble before class. And I just realized that like that set this kind of like negative feedback loop into motion where I was so tired the next day, I wasn't studying or wasn't learning properly during the day, and then that would create more homework and blah 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 on down.
That is definitely a common pattern.
One of the things I think I enjoyed the most was we would have these coffee houses where a lot of the kids with musical ability would kind of organize these concerts in Blackford or in the
Stewart
old library
Center? Oh, the old library.
There may have been some in Stewart. Yeah, Stewart used to be this sort of almost like gymnastics gym, kind of like it was kind of like it was a gym, but it wasn't like Centennial.
Right.
And
wasn't it like smaller, and then there was like a balcony, like circle thing?
Exactly. Yeah, that went around it. And so, I didn't so much get into music, but what I did get into was like the technical production side of these coffee houses, and in particular, audio mixing and lights and that sort of thing. And I think the exposure to that is something that, had I not gone to Episcopal and not had the chance to meet kids, that knew how to play the guitar well, that knew how to play the drums, who were interested in performing, I would have never picked up some of those skills. And that is, I often in my job today point to the coffee houses are helping out on the technical theater level as like actually where I learned the skills I use today in my job, which is kind of funny because I think most people, when they're in a job in their career, they point to college or, their first internship after college. And for me, a lot of those skills go back to Episcopal.
Is there any other like specific like memories that just have continued to, you continue to reflect on as life goes on about Episcopal?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say, I think more about Episcopal on a weekly basis, just in terms of random memories that pop up, than I do about college. in terms of kind of memories that, if in some ways we're all just the sum of our memories, a lot of the memories that I think made me were at Episcopal. Um, in terms of other experiences, I think for me, a lot of it was going into DC a little bit, whether that was just through what we called yellow slips. I don't know if that was.
We had yellows. Yeah, we had yellows up until the end of my freshman year, and then we changed to digital. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so whether it was through that or whether it was on, like school sanctioned trips, like I remember going to see, there was a guy who used to work at the school who was the sort of technical guy behind a lot of the orchestra. And he, in his part-time too, he was an actual producer for a now relatively famous band called the Bad Plus. And at the time they were kind of small, and he took us to the 930 Club. And the funny thing is, at the time I was like, this is so cool. We're going into DC, we're going to a concert venue. And I remember kind of getting there, like, oh my God, we're in the middle of nowhere in DC. And it just felt so remote, and such an adult experience. And the kind of funny thing is, like, I'll find myself at the 930 Club now, and sort of trying to imagine myself sort of, I don't know, 13 years ago.
It definitely looked like a completely different place when you were
Exactly.
13, 14 than it does now.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, at the time I was like, this place is huge. And now I'm like, this is such a small, intimate venue. But even just like the feeling the first time in the 930 Club, the 930 Club is a place I've seen so many amazing gigs there. And to think like the first one I ever saw was through Episcopal. So, it's little ways that Episcopal pops up.
Is there anything that you want to say to the Episcopal high school community right now?
Yeah. I mean, just thinking out loud here, I would say, first of all, like, my heart breaks for everyone whose semester has been sort of turned upside down, especially the seniors. That I can only imagine it has been incredibly difficult. But the great thing about Episcopal is this kind of isn't the end of your, time at Episcopal. I'm way closer to my friends from high school than I think I am even to this day with my friends from college. And things are going to go back to normal, whatever that normal is going to be. And you will have you'll make a lot more happy memories as part of the Episcopal community. So through attending the game, reunions, and all kinds of things in between that you'll come back for, or participate in broadly. For me, this is a very gratifying experience, the chance to talk to you. And I'm aware of the fact that, like, if it wasn't for Episcopal, this wouldn't be happening. So I would say, don't dwell on like how crap this situation is right now, because there's going to be a lot more really positive situations that come from Episcopal.
All right, Paul, thank you again so much for agreeing to interview. It's been really great talking to you. Talk to you
See you
soon.
soon.
Paul Blake. All right, everyone, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned. God bless the high school.
So, I hope whoever's watching this, your friends, your family, I hope you guys are in good health, and I hope you guys are taking the necessary precautions in order to stay safe from the virus. It's scary times going on right now, so I hope everyone's okay.